Hello, hello, hello. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Griffiths here. How are you doing? Welcome to the Ultimate Productivity webinar, 101 Tips in 90 Minutes. Now, it's kind of interesting. I think there's a lot of people out there who have been asking the question, can these lunatics really do it? I guess that's a pretty fair question. Look, I want to thank you for tuning in. I also kind of get the concept that you've given up, 90 minutes of your day, which is a pretty big thing to do in retrospect. And obviously, we want to make sure that we bring in a whole pile of value for doing that. And I guarantee that's exactly what you're going to get out of today. So we're not going to muck around though. So let me just introduce my fellow conspirator here, which is Sam Harrop. And g'day, Sam. How you doing?
Good, thanks, Andrew. Thanks for having me.
Good on you, mate. And we're in the dizzying heights of Cairns. Sam's in my little remote studio where we've been working and scheming on this for the last few weeks now and putting this together. And Sam, as many of you know, is the author of the wonderful book, Getting Stuff Done, a 7-step process to ending procrastination and achieving more. And one of the greatest books, and everyone on the webinar gets a free copy of that.
That's right. Absolutely. You're going to be able to download a copy of the book, and we'll share that link afterwards.
Yeah, great. So we're going to tell you about all that stuff, don't worry. As promised, we're not selling you anything. There's nothing that we're trying to flog you. This is purely a let's get frickin' productive. Okay, that's the only objective that we have out of today. So I'm watching the clock, and it's 11:01:26, so we're going to keep going. Before we dive into the tips, Sam, why is productivity such a hot topic? We've had 300 people register for this webinar. That in its own right, and more people kind of registering right up to the last minute. Why is this such a hot topic?
Andrew, everybody's busy, and everybody just seems to be getting busier and busier. And
stressed out, man.
Stressed out. People, a good old saying, Aussie saying, we're over it. Well, people are overstressed, they feel overworked, they're overtired, and there's just this feeling of overwhelmed. Over. And so the thing is really around it is people are feeling that there's nothing that can be done about it. And you know what the problem with that is? It makes it worse. And one of the best ways of curing this is to just get stuff done.
Yeah.
When people get stuff done, they feel better about themselves, they feel more confident, are more inspired and motivated. And also what happens is when you start getting stuff done, you become more engaged, become more productive, you can earn more, and most importantly, you actually have more time to do the stuff that you really want to do and enjoy doing.
I couldn't agree more. I think it's that whole concept too of measuring progress. Most of us feel at the end of the day that we've just spun a whole pile of plates and it's been all crazy, all this weird stuff. It's like you arrive at the end of the day absolutely knackered with doing a pile of stuff, but not actually feeling like you've got anything done. I mean, you check your email at 5 o'clock in the morning, all of a sudden it's 5 o'clock at night. What did I do all day? Well, basically, I just kind of responded to everyone else. And I think we've got to do things differently.
That's right.
So the moral to the story. And that's why when we got our heads together on this webinar, the idea was, well, okay, let's be ridiculous and let's get 101 productivity tips and deliver them in 90 minutes. With the objective being that realistically, if you don't get great value out of this free webinar, and if you don't pick up one tip that's going to change everything you're doing, like seriously.
Well, there was tip 102, okay. And it's actually review what have I achieved today.
Thank you.
At the end of the day.
So have we finished the webinar?
Have we over-delivered?
Oh, God. We've exceeded all expectations. And some of you are sitting there going, no, you haven't. You've done nothing. Righto. Okay, Sam, are you ready to get going on this craziness?
Let's go.
Okay. So we are going to be kind of going through them relatively quickly. If anyone is worried that you don't get them all, well, that's okay. We're going to give you a copy of the recording. We'll send that out as well. You'll get a link to that, so don't stress about it. But what I'd love you to do is just really note the ones that resonate with you at a gut level, the ones that make you go, oh, that's a good idea. So anything that doesn't resonate, let it go. But the ones that really do resonate, jot it down now. Just make a point of saying, right, okay, that's one that I'm going to use. So Sam, let's get going straight away. Bang. Number 1.
Excellent. Tip 1, why? You really need to understand what is the outcome you want to achieve and why you want to achieve it. Yep. So many people start off saying, this is what I have to do, but they actually don't know why they're doing it and what the outcome is. Just an interesting thing there, if you listen to yourself when you're speaking to people, most people tell people what they have to do and then why they have to do it. If you actually flip that around and explain to people why they need to do something and then what they need to do, you get a much better result. And the same applies for you. Really get clarity around why you want to do something. What is it that you want to achieve?
A great point. So I think we actually end up a little bit on remote these days. We just go through the motions. We're on, remote. Whoever makes the loudest noise is who we attend to.
That's right.
Not necessarily the strategy. That's why I always find, for me, the days that I have no email, and I know we'll talk about this as we move through it, the days of disconnection are the days where I feel great, where I get the most done, and I'm very clear on what I want to achieve at the beginning of those days. I look at those days as gold, because I get more done in a day with no email and no phone and no distraction than any other day, full stop. So you've got to schedule those days.
Absolutely right.
Okay, let's move on. Number 2.
Okay, so we're going to clarify the different types of tasks. And what I mean by this is understanding that some tasks need to be done on a repetitive basis. So, cutting the lawn, not the most productive way of doing that, but you guys get the idea. It's something you're going to need to do on a regular basis. So from a business point of view, it's like sales calls. We know that in order for a business to grow and be successful, you need to allocate a certain amount of time to doing selling. But then there's certain other tasks that you'll only do once off or irregularly. So an example of that would be, let's say, creating a marketing plan. And so what you need to do is you need to balance these things out. What are the repetitive tasks that we need to do on a regular basis to be successful, and identify what those are and schedule those? And then what are the once-off tasks? And sometimes it's breaking it down into steps. I need to do this, then I need to do that, and then I need to do this.
Great. Okay. Beautiful. Clarify the different types of tasks. Okay. Number 3, responsibility versus accountability. I love this.
This is a very, very important distinction. You see, responsibility is around actions. Accountability is around results. And so where we go with this is you want to reward people that get results, because some people can be really, really busy. We can all be really busy, but achieve nothing. And an easy distinction on this one is, let's say, for example, we hired a telemarketer, and we said, okay, you need to make 20 sales calls a day. That's activity. And that's responsibility. If we wanted to make them accountable, we'd say, hey, you're going to need to make anything between 1 and 200 calls. But what you need to do is set up one well-qualified appointment.
Right.
You see the difference?
Right. Okay. So just do that one again. Responsibility versus accountability. Just sum it up.
So responsibility is all the actions.
Okay.
And accountability is around results.
Right. So who are you accountable to? Yourself or
Absolutely. You can be accountable to yourself. You can say, this is what I want to achieve today, as opposed to this is what I have to do today.
Right. So I want to achieve this, so that's my accountability. So my responsibility is I need to make 20 calls. I need to do this. So, okay.
That's right.
All right. Got that. Love that one. Nice tip. Number 4.
Okay. Tip 4. This is really important, is to sit down and go, what are your top 3 goals that you want to achieve over a period of time, this year, for example? And then identifying what are the 3 key activities for each of those goals that you need to do. And then that essentially gives you 9 things you're going to measure. So this is going back to repetitive tasks.
Okay.
So a good example is, one of my goals was to have a more loving, intimate relationship with my family. So I go, okay, what are 3 key activities that I know if I do that every single week is going to help that? So, one was date night. Make sure I take my wife out and treat her to a date night.
I thought it meant you went out on a date with someone else.
No, try not. No. Spending quality time with the children. So actually eating as a family and doing after dinner reading.
That's your second goal.
Second activity to achieve that goal.
Right, gotcha.
And then third one was once a month going away and doing a special family outing. So then what I could do is I could measure and go, hey, have I taken Lindy out on a date night? Have we eaten dinner as a family at least 3 times this week and done our reading? And have we been away somewhere special? And it doesn't have to be expensive.
Sure.
It could just be a trip out to one of the local swimming holes or something, but something out of the ordinary.
The interesting thing about this, I think, with productivity comes to that point again that we need to feel like we're ticking things off a list or that we're making progress.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we don't measure progress very well. Most people say, as we said before, I don't know what I've done today. I've done a lot of stuff, but I don't know what I've done. And this is a way of being able to feel like you've made progress. Yes, I've done these 3 things which have helped me to achieve my goal. And you could apply that 3 goals, 3 activities, 9 things to measure to dieting, to business activity, to health and well-being, to family, relationships, anything.
Writing a book. When you were coaching me and mentoring me into writing a book, one of the goals you said when we said, Sam, you need to write 1,000 words a day.
Absolutely.
And I went, right. So if I do that every day for 30 days.
You've got 30,000 words.
That's right. So that was one of my key activities. Obviously, to be able to write that amount, what was the other activities? I needed to set aside a certain amount of time to do research.
Right.
And also to do reviewing.
Right. Right, love it, love it, love it. And the shiver went down the spine of everyone who I've coached on writing books there. And a couple of hundred people who just went, oh my God, I remember that. I remember that feeling.
That's right.
Number 5, how long is a minute?
I know this sounds like a crazy question, and I'm sure people are sitting there going, it's 60 seconds, you know. But
Sam is from South Africa, folks. So just understand it's a different unit of measurement in South Africa.
Time is the same. Where this concept comes in is often we're rushing and we're in such a hurry to do stuff that we don't actually pause and reflect and think. And so sometimes a minute can go really quickly. But if something's happening, there's a certain amount of chaos, and before you react, you choose to respond, and just take 1 minute aside and think before you act.
So you don't go off and doing a whole pile of stuff that you really didn't need to do. You waste time because you react.
That's right.
I've got to say, I agree with that completely. Sometimes, especially with those difficult kind of tasks or those emails that are problematic or whatever it is, we automatically leap into action mode, when if we did take that step back, maybe we go, well, hang on, you know what, I might just let that play out and I'm going to focus on something else, because this client typically wants everything done, and then you do everything, then you find out, you send it to them, they've gone away for 2 weeks holiday.
There we go.
And you want to kill them.
I mean, at my workshops, I actually do this. I get everybody to close their eyes. And I go, okay, I'm going to talk to you guys. And what I want you to do is, when you think a minute is up, I want you to have a look at me.
Oh, really?
And so what happens, everybody closes their eyes, and I start talking about reflecting on what's happened during the day, and I ask them to think about their family and whatever the case is. And most times I have more than half the room have their eyes open before 30 seconds.
Yeah, I would have thought that. Actually interesting.
And then you have a couple of people that never open their eyes and they've fallen asleep. That's always a problem.
Or died.
Or died. Yeah. But 9 times out of 10, we have over 95% of the room have got their eyes open between 30 and 45 seconds. That's it. Exercise over. And people just underestimate how much time is in a minute.
So we've got a better opportunity to use that minute wisely to save us time, to make us more productive. That minute to think, I think that's a great idea. Okay, talk about minutes. Tip number 6, you're never 5 minutes away. What do you mean by this, Sam?
Man, this is going to be the biggest lie. Whenever somebody finds, hey, I'm just 5 minutes away. Like, seriously, 5 minutes can mean 10 minutes, 15 minutes. For some people, it could mean an hour. And so when we understand how valuable a minute is, 5 minutes away is almost disrespecting your time or the person's time that's waiting for you. One thing I like to do, I hate running late, but if that does happen, one of the things is I'll say to somebody, look, I'll be there in 7 minutes. And it's really, really interesting, because they go, 7 minutes? And you're like, yep, 7 minutes. Now, the chances are I'm only 3 minutes or 5 minutes away. But when I arrive there, I have a look at my watch.
You're kind of early.
You're kind of early, or you walk in on 7 minutes. And it's a great starting point.
Yeah.
And it's going, look, I respect your time. And I don't want to waste it, and here's the case. So it's a great tip.
I read a great little thing where people started to use starting times for workshops. Instead of starting at 10 o'clock, they made the start time 10:03 out of that book about cross-industry platforms. And it was interesting because what that actually turned out to, people turned up at 10:03. Most people turned up. I think they reduced people being late by about 45% as a result of making an obscure start time, as opposed to that. Even trying something like I'll call you at 10:03, as opposed to, it's just a little bit different, but maybe it'll make people more productive. So
I love it.
I love that idea too. Okay, tip number 7, the 4 Ds.
4 Ds of email. So this
4 Ds of email.
Yeah, right? And this is really, really important, is most people underestimate the amount of time email does consume.
Absolutely. So, and it's a vacuum.
It is a vacuum. And what happens is we go, oh, I've got some time. I'll quickly check my emails. You read your email, and then you don't do anything with it. So then you reread it later, and you reread it later again, and you end up rereading the same thing about 10 times.
And just on passing, I'm actually checking my email while Sam is talking.
If you hear him yelp, So where we go with this is I go, schedule 3 or 4 30 to 45 minute sessions for email in a day.
I do that, and it's one of the best things I've ever done.
Okay. So now once you've done that, then what we do is you take the 4 Ds. The first one is you read an email, you delete it. If it's not relevant or whatever, just delete it. Next one, second one, D, you delegate it. Who can I get this off to? Get it off my plate and give it to somebody else.
Don't think about it for an hour. Send it off now.
Send it off now. Third one is what we call deferred. So this might be doing a marketing proposal or something that really involves some critical thinking.
Put that in a folder.
You put that into a folder, and you actually schedule time into your diary when you're going to do it. And then the fourth one is deal with. And you set a limit around this. It could be anything from 1 to 5 minutes. If I can deal with this email in 5 minutes, because I've still got 45 minutes to get through all of these emails, I'm going to deal with it. So you read it, you do your response, you send it off. Because what happens is people go, oh, I don't have time to respond to that, so they never respond to it. But if you know you've got 5 minutes, and we've already established how long a minute is, you'll be surprised. And it's a great way of managing your email. So the 4 Ds.
I think it's great advice. I went away for 7 days and I had no email. I came back to 1,500 emails. 15, I think it might have been more. I managed them all in 2 hours because I had such a giant list that I literally followed that approach, the 4D concept. And I went, wow. So I spend probably 3 or 4 hours a day doing emails sometimes. You know, I could do a week's worth in 2 hours when it was all in one big kind of list like that. And I manage them probably better than I normally do. Maybe I should just check emails once a week. But, you know, it might not work, but the concept is the same.
Yeah, and the 2 concepts there that combine. One is batching, so getting everything together. And the other one is what we call Parkinsons Law, which we'll talk about shortly.
Right. Number 8, drafts and signatures. What do you mean by this one, Sam?
You know when you've written a great email or a great article or a response to somebody, save it and use it as a draft. So I've got a whole lot of drafts that I use on a regular basis with relevant attachments. So if somebody makes an inquiry about something, about a program or something like that, I can listen to them. I can customize just change the name, the date, or whatever the case is. I normally have those in different colors. Highlight it all back into one color and send it. So it's already got the right attachments and everything. And also signatures, you know, having different signatures on the road mode or whatever the case is, so people get an understanding. You don't have to type in the same letters or the same thing.
Right. I've got like 10 different email signatures or autoresponders for different things because the same thing, you know, when I'm on the road, I'll be a few extra days, I just kind of find it's conditioning people. Okay, so drafts and signatures, don't reinvent the wheel all the time is what you're really saying there, isn't it, Sam? Okay, tip number 9, action required versus FYI. What do you mean by this one?
Again, this is with emails, is you know, when we send emails, BCC and CCing people in drafts, everybody nuts. Okay, so don't do that unless it is relevant to them. And normally what I'll do when I send an email is I might put there, action required. You know, so please respond. Or even just the heading, action required, and then the title of the email, or FYI, for your interest. So what happens, the person that's receiving it going, oh, FYI, I'll get to that later.
It's not urgent.
Action required, we need to make a decision on this before whatever time. And so it's a quick way of helping people sort through your emails and get back to you quicker, which enables you to be more productive.
You know, I got an email today from a friend of mine, Amy Turnbull, and what she had done, I'd introduced her to someone, and what she said was, thanks, Andrew, for the introduction. I'll take you off the thread now so that I'm not filling up your inbox. And I thought that was a really considerate and smart kind of a response. I don't need to be involved. But you know those ones now you're in every email for the next 50 emails because there's a feel that they need to stay connected and because you've done the introduction. I don't want to know. You guys go and run amok now. So
there's a story for that, actually. I was a keynote speaker. It was meant to be all pumped up and everything. And the MD got up onto the stage before us. I thought he was going to do a great introduction. And he stands up there with a wad of paper and he does this rant. And basically the rant went, if you weren't prepared to get up from your chair and actually fax a letter to somebody, do not include them in the CC list. And after that, he turned and went, and here's Sam Harrop. And I was like, oh, you're kidding.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, number 10. Turn off all alerts.
I think enough said, you know, turn off your mobile phone alerts, turn off your email alerts. There's nothing worse than working on something and a bing goes off.
I agree.
It's a distraction. Just turn off your alerts and be 100% present in what you're doing.
And this is the key to productivity, is being fully present. Again, you talk about speaking. It's a time for me. I love being a presenter on stage because you have to be totally present. You can't be checking your emails when you're on stage, unless you're George Negus, you know, but you cannot do that kind of stuff. You have to be fully present, and your brain just works so much better. I go into offices and they're getting a beep for every email. They're getting a beep for every SMS. They're getting a beep for every Facebook notification, all the rest of it. So it's like beep, 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 beep. My head would explode in that space. I agree. Like, you got to control it, which means you say at 11 o'clock, I'm going to go and check all of those things.
That's right.
Don't become Pavlov's dog, where every time a bell goes off, you know, you're running to your computer to try and respond. Tip number 11. Sam just gave me the wind up. Can you believe that? I got the wind up from Sam Harrop. And this is a photo of Sam in his younger days, I might add. Right. Tip number 11. Email with options.
Email with options. In other words, the format is if this, do that. If not, do this. So in other words, has XYZ client paid? If so, please do this. If not, please do that. So in other words, responding to emails that people, you don't have this backwards and forwards in, giving people options and empowering people to make decisions and what the next steps are.
Yep, great. Okay. Where are we?
Next one.
Sorry, I got sidetracked by a question coming through there. Where are we? And my technical problem, I'm in charge of the technical. That's what the problem is.
Planning.
Right.
I love this one. You know, people often say to me, Sam, I have no time to plan. And my response to them normally is, but you've got plenty of time to fix the problems.
Mm-hmm.
You know, spending or investing time in actually putting together a plan of action is going to save you heaps of time. Set aside a minute or 5 minutes or just actually map it out. What do I need to do? If this, then what's going to happen, and move on.
I use mind mapping for this. It's awesome. Sit down, you know, when my head is full, like how do I approach this? I used to spend hours, how do I do this? How do I quote this? How do I do this? Whereas now I do a 5-minute mind map, and then I find I can just automatically, that's my proposal or however I want to do that. That just kind of works really, really easy.
There's actually one more thing on that.
Sure.
5 Ps. So we know about the 5 Ps of marketing. There's 5 Ps of planning.
Okay.
Proper planning prevents poor performance.
I had a different term for poor. Okay, great.
6 Ps.
Tip number 13, batching. You mentioned this a minute ago, mate. Tell us what batching means to you.
It's grouping activities together, like how you went through all those emails in 2 hours. So it's like paying your bills. When are you going to pay your bills or pay your invoices? Set time aside, do it all in one go. You're in the bank, do it. Shopping. You know, if you're going to go shopping, do it all in one go. Don't go every single day for 5 minutes. Buy a deep freeze for crying out loud. Invoicing, phone calls. You know, when you're in the phone mode, set aside time. That's when you're going to return phone calls. And that's when you're going to get back. So you can batch stuff together. You're fully present and you're ready to go. I also find actually having meetings, you know, I'm better off setting a day aside or an afternoon aside to have a couple of meetings than having them scheduled all throughout the week, because you waste time driving.
Couldn't agree more. You know what, funny thing though, we know how to batch a lot of stuff. Like we do know how to batch invoices, invoicing time. We know how to batch this, but we don't apply batching to other parts of our life. So for me, definitely I have days that are appointment days.
Yes.
So I might have 6 appointments in a day, but I also have batching appointment-free days.
Yes.
So where you have no appointments at all, no phone calls, no anything on that day, so you can actually get stuff done. And I think we've got to be a little bit more creative in how we batch.
Yeah, actually a great batching one as well, I'm sure you do it, Andrew, is creating days.
Yes.
Where you need time to get into that mode, and then once you're in it, you're super productive.
Yeah.
But so setting that time and creating that space and time to do it, very, very important.
Sweet. Okay, great. Lovely tip. I love batching. The default diary, structure your days and weeks and repetitive tasks. What do you mean by this one?
Okay, so this is a bit of a wrap up of everything so far, is going, okay, if these are the things that we need to do on a regular basis, what does my Monday through to Friday or even Saturday and Sunday need to look like?
Yep.
So I'm going to have my team meetings on a Monday or on a Friday.
Yep.
You know, generally the best days to have team meetings. I'm going to do marketing on these days. So for example, to do sales calls generally on a Monday is not really good because people are just getting into the week. But you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are better. And there's certain times that are better depending on the industry you're in.
True.
You know, they say sales calls time, you know, in some industries it's between 10 and 12 and 2 and 4.
Yep.
Before then people are dealing with stuff, and after that they're not interested.
No one wants to know.
So it's really creating some structure around that. If you've got repetitive clients, so I've got a lot of clients that come back on a regular basis. I try to schedule those on a Tuesday through to a Thursday. Why? Because Mondays and Fridays always end up being public holidays, and then I end up wasting time trying to reschedule everyone.
Exactly.
So it's just spending a bit of time on what does an ideal week look like, and then actually funneling people into that.
And it works. And I think if people don't fit into that and it's outside of your schedule, then I don't think you should revisit, are they your clients? I had a guy who wanted me to work for him as a marketing guy, and he wanted me to be available every Friday night because his words were, I like to have a couple of bottles of red wine and I want my marketing guy to be available to me on a Friday night when I get my best ideas. And obviously, I'm the wrong guy for you, fella, so you need to find someone else. Okay, tip 15, make time to recover. Okay, so is this from alcohol abuse or like what?
No, a lot of people go through life or their work day like it's a marathon. I look at it as a series of sprints. You have a sprint session and then a recovery session. So in terms of that, in terms of your day, Make sure you've got a couple of gaps in the day where you can recover. Just time out, go for a walk around the block, or get up and do something, get up and move.
Right.
But then also time during the week to recover. So, on the weekends, actually make sure you've got some downtime. And then also your year. So many people get to October, November, and they go, oh, I'm over it. I can't wait till the end of the year. And you're going, hold on, there's a whole quarter of the year left. There's 25% of this year left, and you're shutting down now.
People are doing that now, aren't they? They're, I'm kind of winding down now for the end of the year. You go, man, you should be winding up for the end of the year, not be winding down. I think it's an excellent point. And again, for me, I definitely try to build that into my life. Like have days in the week that are quieter, there's less things, have periods of time where you go away for a few days to recharge and just to think and plan. I'm still thinking about my business, but it's not the doing part of it.
That's right.
So making time to recover is a great tip, Sam.
My daughter actually had a nice one. She said, Daddy, why don't we have a staycation? We went camping and it was a disaster. It ended up raining and we came home early. And she said, can we have a staycation? I went, what's a staycation? She goes, well, you stay at home, but you pretend you're on holiday. I took it as meaning I couldn't do any other tasks around the house. She just wanted to build forts. And,
so that would have driven you insane.
Yeah, but it was good. It was a good time. It was.
All right, tip number 16, Parkinsons Law.
Okay.
And this is an unusual one. When you told me about this one, I was quite intrigued. Fire away.
Okay, so the idea of Parkinson's Law is actually the more time you give to a task, it gets more complex and perceived level of importance grows. And the analogy behind this is if you set a really serious deadline, it is amazing the amount of stuff you can get done. So think about just before you go away on holiday, how super productive those last days are. Because you know you've got to get it done. So what happens is you go down, but what are the key things I need to get done to make this task successful? You
get more done in those days than you get done in a week or 2 weeks often beforehand.
And that's it. It's Parkinson's Law. So you can use this to your advantage as well. Sometimes we've got an event, let's say, for example, a keynote presentation coming up in a month's time. Now, you could schedule time 4 weeks out to start planning it, but you're going to spend a whole heap of time. You might go, right, I need time 4 weeks out just to get the basic stuff ready, but then 2 weeks out, which is now getting closer, I'm going to set aside 2 or 3 hours to really nut everything out. And you get that done. Otherwise, what happens is it just drags on and on and on. So it's actually setting a hard date. I've had people take it to extremes where they're doing it the day before. I'm not so keen on that one.
Yeah, nice, great tip. Number 17, what are you going to wear on a daily basis? This is like a Mark Zuckerberg kind of thing, right?
That's right. It's just, the amount of time people spend flapping about with their wardrobe is like, decide what you're going to wear, get a basic uniform, whether it's black pants and a smart shirt. Unfortunately, my wife's put a bit of a cap on that one because when I go and see something I like, I just go, I'll buy 3 pairs of those. She goes, everybody will think you're wearing the same stuff. so what I'll do, though, is I'll find 3 nice shirts and black pants and whatever the case is. You don't have to think about what you're wearing. Now, for ladies on the call as well, sometimes it's just turning around going, what are a couple of outfits that, that work for you? Ladies seem to have more variety, I should say, but without being sexist, just make it nice and simple, and also don't overcomplicate it.
Having a uniform is a really great idea, even if it's just you in your business. You're a solopreneur. Why not have a uniform? If you can, take away that thought. How much time do you spend not only buying clothes, getting them, maintaining them, doing all the rest of it, thinking about on a day-to-day basis? What could you do better with that time? Okay, tip number 18: plan the day before.
Plan the day before. At the end of the day, when you're tired mentally and physically, that's the time where you've got to go through more sort of process-driven stuff. But if you turn around before you leave the office and you go, these are 3 things that I need to achieve tomorrow for tomorrow to be successful. And then circle the biggest one. Go, if I get that done tomorrow, tomorrow will be a success. And then call it a day. Then when you come into the office the next morning, it's there. You know exactly what you need to do.
It's a Napoleon Hill thing, isn't it? I remember that was one of his biggest pieces of advice was always that, is to plan your day before, and you actually go to sleep a little bit more contented and not waking up going, oh, what have I got to do today? So you sleep better. I think that's a great tip. And I do that, and I find that it's the last thing I do at the end of the day. Spend 5 minutes maybe planning the day before, and I do feel a sense of closure. It lets my brain go, okay, you can go and do whatever you're going to do now, but you know what's coming. You're not waking up jolt awake, freaking out a bit.
And you can also reflect on what you have achieved that day. So.
Which great thing to do as well. So what about this though? So we've had plan the day before, but then prep the night before.
Prep the night before. I think this really comes down to is, getting everything ready before you go to sleep. So what are you going to wear? If it's your uniform. For me, when I was busy training to do the Ironman, Linda used to laugh. She said, I spend more time getting my bike ready for bed than the kids, because what I do is I pump up my tires, I get all my clothes, everything ready. So in the morning I could wake up, get dressed, and get on my bike and go. So it's prepping the night before. You know, what are you going to eat? What clothes? Whatever the case may be. So you can wake up in the morning and get going. You know, there's no point stumbling through the house trying to find a shirt and socks and whatever. Get that all ready so you can start the day on a great note.
Awesome. Great. Okay. Yep. I agree with that as well. And be awkward if I didn't agree, really, wouldn't it, at this stage, James? Okay. 20. Avoiding rush hour, shopping, traffic, Valentine's. I'm not sure what that is about. Filling your car up. All right.
Just avoid rush hour. You know, I know that if I leave home before 7 o'clock, I can get into the office really quickly if traffic flies. If I leave 1 minute past 7, I'm stuck. So leave early, arrive early, and then use that time productively. It amazes me that people go shopping on a Saturday morning. You know, there's many other times that you can schedule around that. Going out for dinner on Valentine's night, we do not go out for dinner on Valentine's night. Why? Because everybody goes out for Valentine's night. You pay twice the price and you get crappy service. I'd rather go the night before
or the night after. Lindy, your wife, on the line.
We still do it. We still do it. She knows. She knows. No, filling your car up. Why wait until the day before the cyclone hits?
Peak hour.
Yeah. So,
you know, I go to Coles or Woolies if I go to the shops at 8:30 at night.
There we go.
And there's no one there. You got a place to yourself. I get it done in 15 minutes, and it's over and done with. And I find it's a really, and it also is a bit of a downtime as well. And because you want to get in and out, you don't tend to buy as much crap.
Yes.
Okay. Tip 21. NET. No extra time. What do you mean by this?
No extra time. So scheduling, you can, you know, so for example, if you're going to exercise, have a podcast or an audio book that you can listen to. If you're going to travel on a train, make sure you've got your laptop, it's charged up, you can use it. So it's really using your extra time. I often use, in the mornings, I'm generally driving to work too early to be phoning anybody. So that's when I'm going to do a bit of my education and listening to audiobooks. Yep. Often driving home, I've actually got a post-it notes at my computer, and during the course of the day I think, oh, I've got to phone that person, I've got to phone that person, I've got to phone that person. And if I'm leaving the office a little bit early, so I can get home and spend time with the kids, what I'll do is I'll actually have that post-it note with me in the car, and I'll actually dial and speak to people as I'm driving, so I'm not wasting time.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Just that utilization. It's a little tip, but I tell you what, I think there's an enormous amount of value in that, just the extra minutes that we make up during the day. As long as I have a little list of things that I go, what the things that I'll do when I get a moment during the day. And we always get moments, but it also feels good to be crossing them off.
Oh, yes.
And there's a lot to be said for that. Now this one, tip 22, a chess clock. Productive and non-productive time. Talk us through this one.
This was actually introduced to me by a friend of mine, Steve. And what it is when you take a chess clock, so it's 2 clocks, and then when you hit the one button, the opposite clock goes, and when you hit the other button, the other one goes. So what you do is you decide, one you put a green sticker on, one you put a red sticker on. When you're being productive, you hit the green sticker. When you're being unproductive, you hit the red sticker. So what this does is it creates awareness. So an example is you go, right,
idea.
I'm going to put a value on my time. If I'm doing anything worth less than $25 or $30 or $50 an hour, it's red time. If it's worth that, if it's more than that, it's green time. Or if you're going to be working and you get interruptions, so you're green time, you're busy working on a proposal or something, somebody comes in and interrupts you, you hit the red time, you answer their question, and then once you're back in your work again, you press green. And what you do is you actually realize how much time you waste during the day. It's also a great pattern interrupt.
Great idea. And you get these chess clocks at any nerd shop anywhere around the world. What I used to do this just with a notepad, and I used to have a green, orange, and red. And the green was productive time, orange was neutral, stuff you had to do, invoicing or whatever, and then red was unproductive time. And I just, throughout the course of a day, I had to map everything I was doing and where it fell into it, and 50% of the stuff I was doing was in the red zone.
Wow.
Non-productive.
Yeah, 50% is still quite good actually, because the first time you do the chess clock, people go through, they can't believe how much time gets wasted answering other people's questions, answering the phone when there's somebody trying to sell you some marketing or advertising, you know.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay, number 23, a countdown timer.
Countdown timer. The idea behind a countdown timer is having focus sessions where you don't have to worry about time. You turn around and say, I'm going to work on this for the next 30 or 45 minutes. You set your countdown timer. You've got no other distractions. Nose down, bum up. And you know that if you get totally carried away and engrossed in it, because often that's what stops people getting fully engrossed, they're scared time's going to run away.
Yep.
You know, time is going to go off and pull you back to reality. you just nose down, bum up, you focus on what you need to do, you will be surprised at how much work you can get done.
So obviously you can just use your phone for that these days, and I think, again, an excellent tip so that you don't just lose time in this nebulous space.
That's right.
Okay, tip 24, the old 80-20 rule.
80-20.
We've all heard it, you know.
Paretos Principle, and it's just turning around going, 80% of your profit is going to come from 20% of your clients. 80% of your profit is going to come from 20% of your products. 80% of your pain in the ass problems are going to come from 20% of your clients. It's really understanding what is the stuff that really counts.
Yep.
What are your top 20% areas that you need to focus on, and then working out how you're going to deal with that.
So for me, in my day, I have things that I have to do,
yes,
that are important to me, things that I would like to do, and things if I get the time.
Yes.
And that's how I look at that. So my 20% of the things that I have to do today, and it works. It works by having that as a simple thing. Okay, 25. Set time aside after a meeting to think. I thought this was an excellent tip, Sam.
So often people go from one meeting to the next meeting to the next meeting, and then you spend time trying to think about what you had in the first meeting.
Couldn't agree more.
So you have a meeting, and generally I wouldn't schedule a meeting where it's for an hour. It's going to be 45 minutes, and then I've got 15 minutes to make some notes from the meeting, and even possibly start working on what we talked about. So Andrew, you and I have had a call before, and you've given me a couple of things that I need to do, and I think sometimes you might be surprised because all of a sudden within an hour I've done it.
Amazing.
But the idea is, the idea is, okay, I know I've got this call with Andrew, I've got these things I need, I've got time afterwards, I can get the ball rolling, because sometimes we're waiting on responses from other people. So as soon as we can get it out, we can get that information back.
I take notes at the end of a meeting when I have a bit of quiet time as well. And they're not the logical do this, do that. They're just a bit, how did that meeting go? What's my gut feeling, my intuition about that meeting? Should I give this more, just a bit of that feeling, because the feeling part of it is what you lose later on as well.
That's right.
And I think we've got to not just look at it as that, what more to do, but also how do I interpret what happened in that meeting?
Spot on.
Okay, 26, your introduction sucks.
The amount of time people waste by not knowing how to introduce themselves right. And so they bumble their way through it, but then you end up meeting or trying to connect with people that aren't relevant to your business or what you do.
Yep. Whereas
if you've got a nice, succinct introduction that clearly articulates what you do, people know, hey, I can help this person, or they can help me, and you can move on. So, get a good introduction and use it to your advantage.
Awesome. Great. Marketing that works. Being a marketing guy, I like to see this. Tip 27.
Good marketing is going to bring well-qualified leads into your business and into your life.
True.
Marketing, beige marketing, or marketing that isn't very well targeted can waste a lot of your time. I've got one client who we worked out that over 90% of his phone calls that came into his business were from the Yellow Pages.
Right.
We decided to cancel the Yellow Pages ad.
Okay.
Because of those calls, none of them converted.
So they're all tire kickers.
They were all tire kickers.
Yeah, he's spending his entire day, or he or she, their whole day is wasted answering calls that are non-productive.
That's right. Got rid of the Yellow Pages, which meant the phone rang less, which meant we could spend more time with people. Our conversion rate went right up, and the profits went up, and he had more time.
But you've got to be brave to do that stuff. I think most people would go, oh, well, let's do things to make the phone ring less. Would be free now. And interesting to see from a productivity point now, there's offices that are not having phones in them.
Wow.
It's purely Skype. You've got to schedule Skype calls. There's offices that they're restricting your internet access for email so that you're actually talking and working. And this is, again, because how much is lost productivity. Tip 28, the sales process.
A sales process is knowing what the steps are that a potential prospect will go through to buy from you. So often what happens is we get somebody, we meet somebody, and we start a sales process, but we're always thinking about what's the next step, what's the next step. Whereas if we've actually got a well-defined process, we know what the next step is and we can lead people through. There's that concept 7-11, 7 hours or 11 touches before somebody buys from you. And so if you know what your sales process is, you can start to walk people through. I've got to say as well, though, sometimes people want to skip a step, and depending on what you're selling, that's okay.
Absolutely.
But at least having defined steps, and this goes back to having your drafts and your email signatures set up.
Just don't reinvent the wheel every time you've got to do something. Forms like, I know I get a request for a speaking job. If I had to redo my proposals and all the rest of it all the time, you never get anything done. but you've got to make the time to do those things.
Yes.
You know, so you become less productive to become more productive.
Spot on.
Is the key on that one. Okay, 29, define a time you will wait, for example, in a meeting. So describe this for us, please, Sam.
You know, yeah, I learned this lesson, funny enough, quite early on in business, is, you know, you go to a meeting, I hate being late. I always arrive before time. I never arrive on time. I think you know that as well.
Yeah,
I arrive before time.
Early. Yep.
So arrive before time, go up and introduce, you know, go up to reception or whatever the case is. Obviously, you go, hi, you know, if you arrive at 5 to 9, your meeting's at 9 o'clock. You wouldn't do that because of rush hour, so it must probably be 10 o'clock. But then you go, oh, look, I'm here for a meeting with Joe Bloggs at 10 o'clock. I'm a couple of minutes early.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Now, at 10 o'clock, you know, make sure that the receptionist or whoever sees that you're there. But, you know, by 10:05, I'll get up to the counter and go, I'm here, how are we going? Because if they don't value your time and respect your time, it's already not a good start.
I agree. How much time do we spend sitting around waiting for people? I don't spend that much time these days, but I'm also a little bit impatient around that. I might add that Sam arrived here at 5 a.m. this morning. Webinae just in case anyone wants to know how serious he is about that.
I bought coffee.
Which is the, you know, everything is forgiven when you drink coffee. Okay, tip 30, say no and mean it. What do you mean by this, Sam?
Oh, you know, people are so bad at saying no. We've always told saying no is rude and offensive and whatever the case is. But often we just don't say no to people. We sort of say, oh, I'll come back to you. Well, that's something else that you need to do, and you know you're not going to do it anyway. So there's two ways of handling this.
I agree, yeah.
The one is just saying, you know, thank you for thinking of me. However, at this stage, I'm not able to commit to doing that. And should it change, I'll let you know. In other words, they're not going to nag you anymore. If you're a little bit softer and you want to be a little bit nicer, it does take a bit more time, but then people don't think you're so hard, is you go, look, let me check my diary and I'll get back to you. Now, sometimes people, particularly people are trying to sell you something or trying to get you to commit to something, they go, well, we need an answer now. And my mother always used to say to me, if you need an answer now,
the answer's no.
The answer's no.
I agree.
So, you know, don't get pressured into these situations.
Yep.
And people that try that, it's nonsense.
Yeah, always say no to anyone who gives you a deadline.
That's
like
right.
That, you know,
yeah.
So we've got to learn to say no and mean it. I think that's one of the biggest points of all today is get better at saying no. Okay. Number 31.
Number 31, say what you mean. Honesty is the best policy. So again, you know, people often where this happens is people go, oh, I've got this great opportunity and it's to do with something that's totally unrelated to your business. They see some form of linkage. Rather just go, look, again, thank you very much, but
it's not what I do.
Not what I do right now. This is not the right time. Don't promise to come back to people and say, oh, can you send me some more information on that? Because at the end of the day, you're just going to waste your time doing it. It either fits into your top priorities or it doesn't. You know, if it's saying you turn around and go, hell yeah, that's great, let's talk about it. But otherwise, if you're a little bit iffy, say no.
You don't want to do it.
No.
Say, do the tip before, get better at saying no. Okay, tip 32, delegate effectively and with confidence.
So really what this is important, a lot of people aren't good at delegating. If you can delegate effectively, you can get so much more done. So again, around delegating effectively, you need to make sure people understand why they're doing it. 1. 2, that they know how to do it. Okay? And 3, you actually, so know how to do it and what a good result looks like. And 3, set a deadline. When by, because, you know, for me, what's urgent, urgent for me might be within the hour, urgent for somebody else might be within the week.
And it closes the loop then. You don't need to think about it anymore. It's delegated. I need this back by 3 p.m. today. You know, thank you. Can you do that? Yes, I can. Great, bang. You put it out of your mind, and if you can't do it, you train people, say, get back to me before 3 o'clock to say you can't do it.
Actually, on that, you just reminded me another thing. Is set a reminder, because a lot of people delegate but never go back after the people to find out that they've done it. So what happens if we go, oh yeah, he's just having a hot flash, he'll get over it.
Forget about it, yeah.
Set a reminder and start to teach people that when you delegate stuff, you expect it to be done.
All right. Number 33, micromanaging.
You don't pay people to watch you work, okay? Get out of the way and empower them. And it really is just, often when we micromanage people, we actually disempower people. It's not fair. Empower people and get them to move on.
Okay, yep, I agree. And micromanaging takes a whole pile of time, doesn't it? Kind of crazy. Hey guys, look, we've got a couple of people who said, are the slides going to be available for download? They most certainly are, and a recording of this is going to be available as well. So anyone who's I just noticed a couple of questions there. We're not going to open up the panel or discussion because we don't have time, because we've got to keep freaking rolling through. We don't get 101, we're in big doo-doo. So 1/3 of our time is gone, and we're at 45 minutes, so we're going to have to ramp things up a little bit, Sam.
Right.
You're talking too much. It's obviously not me, and we're getting a few cheeky comments from some of our audience in there who know you, that's me as well, too well. Right,
all right, let's go.
Tip 34, training. How do we be more productive with training?
Okay, so that was quick.
Thank you.
So around training, a lot of people say, I have to spend time training people. No, just change your mindset. Invest time in training. If you invest time in training, give people the skills, they can then get on and do it.
Absolutely.
Next.
Great. Increase the level of authority when it needs to be increased. Okay.
Give people authority to make decisions. You know, clearly define what their roles are and what they can and can't do, because a lot of those problems take care of themselves. Timothy Ferriss in his book actually talks about saying if it's going to cost less than $50 to fix a problem, you don't need to contact me. Fix it.
Just fix it. Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
If you put a value on your time, you spend an hour trying to solve a $10 refund. Are you serious? Just get over it.
This is where you've got to have the discussion up front.
That's right.
Manage your suppliers. You need to let me know about this, but not this.
That's right.
So you've got to have great levels of communication. Okay. 36, that's a photo of Sam last weekend out in the bush. Don't battle with other people's monkeys. What do you mean by this, mates?
Man, there's a great book called The 1 Minute Manager Meets the Monkey.
Yeah,
and what it is somebody walks up to you and goes, Andrew, we have a problem. What they've done is they've taken their problem, their monkey,
now it's
and they've
mine.
got one hand and one foot on you. And then you turn around and go, okay, well, what do you want me to do about it? You've just taken on somebody's monkey. Okay, and so what happens is if somebody comes and goes, we have a problem, you go, no, either you have a problem or I have a problem. Let's decide whose problem it is and then what we're going to do about it.
I think that is fabulous.
Don't take on other people's monkeys.
Yeah, I think it's a great tip. I love that photo, I might add. Meetings. Okay, tip 37, meetings, the productivity graveyard. How true is this?
You know, so many meetings are basically what we call talk fests. No action comes out of them. So there's a couple of things there. Meetings should always start on time. I don't care whether everybody's in the room or not. Meetings start on time. We've locked people out of meetings. I did get into trouble once. I actually locked one of the business partners was late for a meeting. We locked him out. He was displeased, but he did arrive on time for the next one.
I love that.
Finish on time. A lot of people don't want to come to meetings because they don't finish on time. Only have the people at the meeting that need to be at the meeting. Absolutely. Have lots of small meetings as opposed to one really big generic meeting.
And maybe also too, like, do meetings need to go for an hour?
No.
Like, why not have 10-minute meetings?
Well, here's a great one, right? Is take the chairs out of the meeting room. Okay.
Everyone's standing, right?
Everybody's standing. The meeting's going a lot quicker. And also you can set some parameters around this meeting is going to be 15 minutes or 30 minutes. If the meeting goes under 30 minutes 2 times in a row, we'll bring the chairs back. Goes over 30 minutes, the chairs are out again.
I think that is a great idea. I love it. So we've got to make our meetings, shorter meetings, be more specific about them. I think that's awesome. Tip number 38, who, what, and when. Why is he poking?
So this relates back to meetings again. Often people take copious notes and the minutes come out of a meeting and nobody ever bloody reads them. Just very simple. Who is going to do what by when? Write it on an A4 piece of paper, put it landscape, photocopy it after the meeting and distribute it. Okay? Next meeting, who is going to do what by when? We can hold people accountable. They're actionable steps that come out of a meeting. Your meetings become productive.
Yeah, great. I love that as well. Dean Hawkins has just said there with the monkey thing, if it's not my problem, I run in my head, not my circus, not my monkeys.
Love it. Absolutely.
And, it's a great, I wrote an article about that for Inc. Tip 39, give feedback 3 to 1. Reward the behavior and the outcomes you want to see.
Man, this is where we need to get a lot better. Okay. And it's really around this, is people only talk up when they see bad behavior, and we focus on bad behavior. What you want to do is when people are doing stuff well, that's when you want to say, hey, great job, well done, give specific feedback. When you did this, this happened, thank you. Now, a lot of people, we condition to remember negative stuff. Okay?
Yeah, we only tell them off.
Yeah, but also if I tell you off, if I tell you something good and then I tell you off, you only remember that I told you off.
Of course.
So the ratio is 3 to 1. You need to give 3 positive feedbacks to 1 negative, or adjusting. I'm sort of inverted commas, adjusting feedback. So recognizing good behavior, thanking people, explaining when they do this, this is the consequences or the rewards, thank you, and then also adjusting. So really focus on catching people doing things right.
And ultimately, of course, you tell people and encourage it, they're going to be more productive, they're going to do the right thing.
That's right.
Beautiful. Tip 40, there's a bit of a monkey thing going through here, isn't there? Leave meaningful messages.
This, you know, I hate getting messages that go, oh, hi, Sam, please call me. Like in connection with what?
I agree.
You know, leave a meaningful message. Go, hey, Andrew, it's Sam here. The reason for my call was to check X, Y, Z. If you could please get back to me, you can either drop me an email or leave a message. That's it. So actually giving instructions. So
couldn't agree more.
And if it's relating to a particular job, you know, if somebody says, hey, I'm phoning up in connection with this job in December, we just need to clarify the venue in the room or whatever the case is, then you can go and do your research. So when you phone them back, you've got the information you need.
I agree. And also have a great message. On my message bank, I say, really, to be more productive, you better email me. If you email me, I'll get back to you quicker than if you ring me. So, and if you don't leave a message, well, you know, you fend for yourself. Tip 41, interruptions, the 15-minute rule.
Every time you get interrupted, it takes you about 6 to 7 minutes to get back to your line of thought.
It does.
So what I like to introduce here is what I call the 15-minute rule. I personally find that 45 minutes I can really focus, and then after that I need a little bit of a distraction, a little bit of a break. So what we do is we say, on the hour for 15 minutes, everybody's available. We can answer each other's questions, get up, walk around, make a coffee, whatever the case is. From 15 the hour until the hour again, unless the building's on fire or there's a medical emergency with my family, I'm not here.
Yep.
And you know what's amazing? The paper gets unjammed in the printer by itself. People are able to find somebody's telephone number. And by the way, I'm guilty of this as well. When I'm working in the office with my wife, I'll ask her a question and she'll look at me and go, what's the time? And I'm like, okay. And so it means your time is super, super productive, but you're still accessible to your team when needed.
Love it. Okay. This one's nice. Headphones can save your day.
You know, if you don't want to get disturbed, put on your headphones. It's a visual cue. People sort of get it. If you really have to, feign that you're on a call. So if somebody comes and interrupts you,
start talking to yourself.
You just go, just hold the line 1 second, lift up 1 second and go, how can I help you? And generally people, oh, no, I'll come back later. You go, no, do you want to send me an email? It's just getting people out of that habit of you just constantly being available.
And some people are worse than others. Some people abuse it. There's the talkers that want to, hi, hey, how you going?
Actually, we're going to talk about that. I think that's the next tip is actually going, yeah.
Headphones are great. And even in like Qantas clubs or if you're in a coffee shop or whatever it might be, where you're known, again, headphones can save you in there as well. Tip 43, how can I help you?
When somebody walks into your office or somebody calls you, instead of saying, hey, how you doing? Hey, Andrew, thanks for the call. How can I help you?
Yeah, get straight to it.
And if you had to, you could say, hey, Andrew, thanks for the call. Look, I'm just with somebody or I'm about to walk out the door. How can I help you? It gets people to get succinct and to the point as opposed to having this sort of little banter about nothing.
Great tip. Okay. 44, having a productive filing system.
Oh my gosh. Again, this is a bit around the planning stuff. You know, I don't have time to plan, but I've got time to fix my mistakes. I don't have time to sort out my filing, but I've got time to look for paper.
The same paper time and time again.
Just set it up. And you know, the easiest way to think about this is just go files, notebooks and sections. So, you know, this is personal, then in there I've got finance, then this I've got insurance, whatever the case is. And then just a little bit of critical thinking, again, using a mind map and working it out, you can get a basic filing system happening very quickly.
And these days you can pay someone to even come in and do this for you.
Yep.
Who will ask you all the questions that you need to go about how to do this. But I think more people waste time moving bits of paper around than anything else.
Yeah, and that would be money well invested.
Reoccurring meetings and reminders, tip 45.
You know, the nice thing about reoccurring meetings and reminders, if you have the same meetings or the same reminders at the same time every week, people get to know your schedule, you get to know your schedule, you get less interruptions, it flows easier.
You're not reinventing the wheel all the time. That's a clever idea, isn't it? So every Tuesday, 10 o'clock, I have a team meeting, or every Friday morning at 9 o'clock, I do this. Yep. I'm at the gym. Yep. Right, so people know you're at the gym every Friday morning from 10 o'clock, etc.
Think about how productive you were at school. Mm-hmm. You know, at school, you always had maths on a Monday, this first class, then English, then geography, then that. So you get into the pattern, you know what to expect.
Nice. Okay, measuring activity, measuring results.
What activities are generating what results? If we do that, then we know what is and isn't working. So, you know, we decide, okay, we're going to try and increase sales. These are the 3 key activities we're going to focus on for the quarter. Are we doing those activities? What are the results that are coming out of them?
Yeah,
it's
great.
really just a good way of measuring progress.
We don't measure activity. We go through quite random a lot of the time, don't we?
That's right.
So I love it. Okay, tip 47, a task list. Okay, define urgency versus importance.
Okay, so a task list is very different from a to-do list. A to-do list, we just start and we just write things down, and then most people work from the top down, right?
Yep.
A task list is what you do. I love using Excel, a bit of an Excel nerd, is I'll do a data dump. I'll write down all the tasks that I've got to do, and then what I'll do is I'll actually grade them. So everything that's an A, urgent and important. Urgent, it needs to be done within the next 7 days. Important, there's serious consequences of rewards for not doing it. B, not urgent but important. C, nice to do. D, delegate. E, eliminate. And you just do a quick sort.
Nice.
And you know, these are my A's. What's A1? What's A2? What's A3? So you're focusing on the highest priority, most urgent and important tasks.
So you dump it all, and then you've got the opportunity to be able to go, right, you know, like, okay, now I can sort it my Excel. That's a cool idea, because that's one of the things I struggle with. I write down my to-do list on a notepad. So I'm from World War I.
So for you, Andrew, what I'd suggest is you get Post-it notes, right? Because you can stick them up and you can move them around. So
yeah,
there we go.
It's nice that you accommodate the old guy, really, Sam. Tip 48, productivity apps. Now, we could have done, obviously, and I have done many webinars just about productivity apps. There's plenty of them. Yes. I think I'll answer this one, Sam, and just kind of say, guys, if you can find a productivity app, use it. And we're not going to go into all the details, because you can ask other business owners, but take the time to learn how to use them. It's a waste of time having a productivity app if you don't freaking use it.
Okay, so here where I go with productivity apps. Don't be the cool kid that finds the new one.
Yeah.
Okay, find out what other people are using, okay, and then get them to show you how they're using it and use it. Don't be the one to go and discover it. And once you've got them, stick to them, because there's always going to be a newer, better, faster, easier one. Embrace a couple, get really good at using them, and stick with them.
Yeah, cool. Okay, great. A couple of people saying, hey, you're doing great, guys. One person there said the sound is terrible. I don't know, no one else has complained about the sound, Carson. So it might be your internet connection, but seems to be we haven't had any other feedback on that. So I'm assuming that everything is going okay with you guys. You can put in the question box, you give us a bit of feedback if you like, and we're going to keep going. Tip 49, eat the right way to improve productivity.
When you get hungry, you get done.
Great. Done.
Done. Eat regularly. Have regular healthy meals. Avoid the sugars, you know, because you're going to have a high and then you're going to have a drop. Eat, you know what healthy food is, guys.
Yeah, it's great. Interesting, folks. Just on the sound thing, most people saying the sound is excellent, so it's probably not our issue. It might be your internet connection. Sorry, guys, if it is. But the recording should be fine anyway. Tip 50, early to bed, early to rise. Nice looking rooster there.
There we go. Early to bed, early to rise will make you healthy, wealthy, and wise. You know, the thing is with this is often we stay up late at night. We feel we're not really being, we're just relaxing, but suddenly you're sitting in front of the TV, and it's 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Absolutely.
You just wasted all this time. Get up early, get going. Early part of the day is the best part. And if you're not an early morning person, you know, again, I reckon you can work on that. You know, particularly if you prepare the day before, you can get going. Nothing like a shot of caffeine.
Absolutely. Tip 51. Let's move it along, Sambo.
Exercise early in the day. You know, it's a nice achievement. Once you've got that done, it gets your endorphins going. It's a great way of setting it up. But you don't have to be doing extreme stuff. You know, 10, 15, 20-minute walk, even with the dog.
5-minute walk. Just 5-minute push-ups, whatever, yeah.
Oh, skipping rope. My wife bought me a skipping rope for Father's Day. 5 minutes on a skipping rope, you said for the day.
That's hard work.
It is hard work.
Okay, tip 52, that's me last night. I think it's kind of cute. Thank you. Deep sleep.
You know, here's an interesting thought. If you think about the percentage of time of your life that you spend sleeping, okay, it's about 30% of your time, 8 hours a day, thereabouts. Invest in a good mattress, invest in a good sleeping setup. A great pillow, good mattress, make sure your sleeping environment's good. Because when you have good sleep, you're a lot more productive. The other night I went out, a couple of mates, I had 1 or 2 drinks. The next day, I was done. I was unproductive. You know,
gotta sleep.
And I wasn't that badly hungover. I mean, but you know,
there's a great book called Night School. If anyone wants to learn how to sleep better, it's just come out. It's fantastic with great tips on sleeping better.
Right.
Using hangers.
We're going to fly through these. A couple of quick ones. You know, again, everybody's around being productive at work, but if we actually can save some time at home it helps us be more productive at work. Washing, use hangers. You don't have to fold. It's easy to put it on the line. You take it off the line into the cupboard. Nice and easy. Also up here in the tropics, your clothes don't smell because they get air. Next.
Children helping with chores. That's a fantasy. It's not a reality.
Quick one, interesting. Our dishwasher broke down. And so Lindy just said, not right. Everybody's going to help with the washing up. It was actually quality time with the kids. We were all in the kitchen. We were all washing instead of sitting in front of the TV and doing our stuff. But kids can help and should help. It's a great way.
Most kids I know would demand payments.
Well, then they don't get fed, man. So, yeah, actually getting your children involved, it also increases their value of self-worth. It teaches them discipline. They've got a sense of accomplishment. I'm a big believer in getting the children to help with chores.
Sweet. Okay, outsourcing, ironing, gardening, car cleaning. I outsource everything in my life.
Absolutely. Where you can outsource, and we'll talk about that with work as well. But, you know, in terms of outsourcing, like the amount of time it takes me to iron a shirt, man, we've got somebody that comes in and irons shirts. He does a fantastic job, and he can do like, I don't know, 10 or 15 shirts in an hour. I average about 1 an hour.
Yeah, okay? I agree.
So get it out
kind of nice.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's a cost that comes with this, but what's the opportunity cost in you not doing that? That's the real key, isn't it, there? And we've had, there's some wonderful people that really kind of, champion this kind of stuff as well. So outsource whatever you can. Don't think about, it cost me $30 to get someone to iron some shirts. Do it. Use that time to make $300.
That's right.
Like important. 56, easy to wash pans.
I only discovered this one recently. Lindy bought some nice pans. The amount of time people spend scrubbing pans, just buy the easy to wash ones, man. It takes a couple of minutes, really easy. So let's move on to the next one.
I agree. Nice. Isn't that a simple point, though? Easy to wash pans, as opposed to freaking, all the other complicated stuff. Develop the right routine, Sam. There's a whole webinar in that one.
Yeah, so there is, absolutely. Routine makes things predictable and makes it easy, particularly around the house with kids. They need to know what happens. If you've got a routine, come home from school, we take our lunch boxes out, we do this, we do homework, we go play. Same thing when I go riding or running. You've got a routine in place. I walk into the house, I'm hot and sweaty. I know if I put my breakfast in the microwave for a minute, I can then go and have a swim, a shower, come back out, my food's cooled down enough for me to eat. Just developing routines makes us a lot more efficient.
And again, you've got to consciously decide to do a routine. Every day at 5 a.m., I'm going to do this. Every day at 9 a.m., I'm going to do this. All that kind of stuff is what we're trying to do here. Okay, next one here, we've got tip number 58. Plan your meals, repeat. Sam?
Plan your meals is, work out what you're going to eat. If you're cooking, cook twice the amount and freeze it. Planning, like, I'm a bit robotic in terms of what I eat.
Hard to believe.
But just plan your meals, know what it is, and have it. I mean, it doesn't mean every Monday spaghetti and every Tuesday is this and every Wednesday is that, but there's actually value in that as well.
Absolutely there is. So, okay, so we can be really productive if we're not trying to reinvent it. It's all about reinventing the wheel is what takes time.
Yep.
59, don't go to shops when they're busy. I guess we kind of touched on that one about peak hour, and I go shopping at 8:30 at night. So anything you want to add to that?
No, just don't do it.
We're getting people say we love the pace, guys. Really? We're freaking almost broken here. Tip 60, buy in bulk, buy online. Right? Great points.
Great picture there, Andrew. Nothing's going to mess up your day like running out of bog roll. Toilet paper.
Toilet paper for those of us who are a little bit more sophisticated. Thank you.
Is buy in bulk. You're going to use it. You're going to use it at some stage.
I'm a big buy, and I get them to deliver it. So shop online, and I get like 2 years worth of toilet paper of any I'm like a prepper waiting for a nuclear war. I'll be fine. Everyone can come to my place. There'll be enough toilet paper for 5 years.
Just get it done.
And tip 61, don't watch adverts, Pandora, Netflix. That speaks for itself, mate.
It does, absolutely.
Don't waste your time watching adverts. Buy iTunes, use Netflix. Forget mainstream television, we lose half of our life.
That's right.
Tip 62, speed reading.
Speed reading, interesting. I did a course. I didn't get to the speed reading course, speed I wanted. I actually found out after the course I needed glasses. Might have helped. But just a very simple one for me is put your finger on the page and run your finger across.
Along.
Andrew, you read a lot.
I read a lot.
What do you do?
Scan read. I've learned how to scan read the same way, where I read at least probably 3 or 4 books a week by scan reading them.
Wow.
But I read fiction books the more other way because I use that to relax my brain.
Sure.
But this one here is more about speed reading, what you need to do. And you, again, practice it. You'll just get better at doing it.
Absolutely, and there's actually a couple of articles on that. You can just a little bit of practicing, you can get up to 1,000 words a minute
easily, even more.
Yeah, even more. If you go and do a course, definitely worth
talking thousands of words a minute, which 2,500 words is about an hour. At times if you're presenting it. So 63, learning to type faster. If I can say this one, I learned to touch type. As a writer, I realized you can't do a two-fingered, you can't be a two-fingered typist if you're an author. So I learned how to type, touch type by typing in the dark, turn off the backlight on the keyboard. And I'll tell you what, I can type really, really fast. As a result, it's my fallback job when this writing thing doesn't work out for me. So just type, just make a conscious decision. I'm going to learn to touch type. Stop looking at the keyboards. Stop looking at the keyboards on that side of things.
And it's slowing down to speed up. I must admit, Andrew, I think you're going to have to hold me accountable on that one because I'm a two-finger wizard. But it's slowing down to speed up.
And Joanne has said that's if you read too fast, you destroy one of the most beautiful experiences, which is to read books at a snail's pace. And I agree, but there are times, this is a productivity webinar, Joanne, not a let's enjoy the book and get the most out of it at times. But I love what you're saying. I'm the same. Books I read, Herman Melville, I'll take a month to read it and say that every word. If I'm reading a book that's telling me about, hey, business skills and acumen, I don't want to spend 3 months reading it. I want to get information out in 3 minutes.
And Joanne, there is schedule, that's leisure time that you schedule and sit down and really thrive.
Susan Bryant saying there, toilet paper reserves at home are an accurate measure of household wealth. Oh man, I must be rich. 64, learn shortcuts.
This is just simple stuff on your keyboard. Shortcut to print, shortcut to paste, all of these sort of things. Just really the amount of time we spend trying to click through different options, learn what the shortcuts are.
I agree, learn it. And Joanne, I'm glad that you're happy now that I've given you that description. Tip 65, make notes.
So when reading books and stuff like that, make notes. Make notes about what have you read. So I make notes in the margin. I use Post-it notes. I use different color pens. I fold the pages. And it's sort of one of these things, when we brought up as kids, we borrow books from the library and you open it very carefully and whatever. I look and I buy a book and that becomes like a resource to me.
Oh, absolutely. I want tears, blood, lipstick, makeup, red wine. I want the book to feel like it's being used.
Have you seen your book in my office, Small Business, your big book of Small Business? On Small Business. Next time you come, I'll show it's folded, it's folded, it's got everything in there.
And I love that.
Because it's being used.
It's being used. If it's pristine condition, I'm not happy. Okay, tip 66, research. Decide what you are looking for first.
Okay.
Why the rabbit?
Why the rabbit? Okay, how often do we go onto the internet to look up something? And then we go, oh, that's interesting. We go down this whole rabbit warren. Okay, and so we get distracted. What is it that you want to learn? So again, I'm a bit of an Excel nerd. I was trying to work out a way for a particular formula. So I went in and I thought, okay, a problem well-defined is a problem hard solved. So all right, okay, what is the statement that I'm trying to find out? So I wrote that out, typed it into Google, second page I clicked on, there it was.
Yeah.
Close Google, carry on with the Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, don't start looking at the puppy clips on YouTube. I agree. Yeah, I think learning how to be a good researcher online is quite a talent. And there's actually some online programs you can do around that I've come across as well. Righto, folks, 2/3 of our time is gone. We're going pretty well.
We're 10 minutes behind.
And we're going okay. We can bring this home. I'm pretty happy with where we're at there. And if your heads are about to explode, well, you can deal with it. Tip 67, outsource well. Okay, let's on to you, Sam.
Okay, so with this is, what is the task? What do you need to be able to do to get the right result? Often we try and outsource tasks to someone, but we spend more time trying to explain to them what we want them to do than the actual task.
Of course.
So I invest time in the beginning if I'm going to do a really detailed brief, if that's something that's going to be repeated on a regular basis. But if it's not, if it's a one-shot project and I can't get that done in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'm better off doing it myself or actually getting somebody in person to do it. So when we talk about outsourcing, we're looking at 5 and those sort of things. Often it works out cheaper to actually have pay somebody locally to actually come and do it.
Yeah, so by the time you do all that briefing as well. Get better at outsourcing is the key. Now this one, I don't normally associate marijuana with productivity. So what's going on here?
Okay, so the idea behind this is that most people think that they can multitask, whereas in reality you can't. Multitasking is trying to use the same part of your brain for 2 different tasks. And when you do that, it makes you as dumb as if you were smoking marijuana, as if you were stoned. That's the impact it has. So quick exercise, and you're going to have a bit of fun here.
Okay.
Can you count from 1 to 10 as quickly as possible?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Awesome. Okay, can you go from A to J in the alphabet?
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J.
Okay, not quite as quick, but we're there. Okay. Now what I want you to do is I want you to go A1, B2, all the way to J.
A1, B2, C3, D4, E5.
Okay,
F,
okay.
6, G,
All right, pause.
I'm not a good example. I'm not that bright.
Well, we'll go smoke something a bit later. No, so where we're going with this is when we try and use the same part of our brain to do 2 tasks at the same time, we slow down. You're much better off counting from 1 to 10 and then going A to J than trying to combine them. We all like to think we can multitask. We can't. We make mistakes. We've got to go back and do it again.
I agree. Multitasking is a myth and it's evil. Don't multitask. Okay. Number 69, no squirrels. Opportunity is a fact, not a reason. Okay.
Now, this is particularly for entrepreneurs are guilty of this. Hey, you say it.
Entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneur.
Okay, I'll translate entrepreneurs.
Great. All right. Okay. So the way this goes is we often see opportunities. There's always this beautiful opportunity, and it's a bit like when you take a dog for a walk on the lead and it sees a squirrel and it chases after a squirrel and the squirrel gets away and then it chases after another squirrel. So what the squirrel represents is a distraction. And one of the biggest distractions to those people, entrepreneurs, is these opportunities. And I say an opportunity is a fact, not a reason. In other words, when an opportunity presents itself, that's a fact. Is it a reason to pursue it? Is it going to align with your goals? Is that going to help you achieve what you want to achieve? Or is it a distraction?
Chasing butterflies is a great form of procrastination. I've been guilty of for 40 years, and many of us are. But it's something that we've got to learn to get more focused and more disciplined on. Tip 70, news RSS feed. We've got to crank her up a little bit here, Sambo.
All right. So with this one is, watching the news, listening to the news. People spend so much time consuming the news. Okay, Andrew, as you know, I don't even read the newspaper. I always figured out if it's important enough, somebody will let me know.
Yep.
For fun the other day, when we had that cyclone coming up, I actually phoned my mother. I said, "Hey, Mum, what's happening? The same's happening in Cairns. There are all these cars lining up outside the filling station." She went, "Didn't you know there was a cyclone coming?" I go, "Yeah, Mum, I did know. I've been told 10 times already." Because she can't get her head around the fact that I don't watch the news.
Mm-hmm.
So, set up your Google alert, set up an RSS feed. I've been told that's a bit old-fashioned now. But there are other ways of getting the news. You don't need to consume hours and hours of it.
Or alternatively, just ignore it altogether and get on with your life.
There we go.
In some respects, it's probably the most productive thing that most people I know do. 71 is social media helping your productivity or hindering it. A lot of time wasted with social media.
With that one, I look at it and I go, it's not during work time. For me, it's a bit of downtime, but I do have to set an alarm because all of a sudden I look up and I've spent an hour on Facebook. Like, what have I been doing, man?
Batching. I tend to batch again with social media. I batch my time.
Yep.
Email time, half an hour for social media time, move on.
Perfect.
And I find that, again, think about it. Be strategic about it. Plan it. Don't let it take over your life. Keep a track. How much time are you spending on social media?
There's actually a website or an app that you can do.
There is. It's devastating. I can't remember what it's called. Nick Bowditch would always have that. If I can find it, I'll post it. But it's devastating how many times you check your mobile phone.
Oh my gosh.
During the day, hundreds of times.
Stop it.
Etc. 72, make your bed.
This is a really interesting one. They're interviewing top performers, and one of the common traits with all top performers is that one of their things is they make their bed in the morning. Get up, make your bed. And the idea behind that is it's something that you've already accomplished for the day, so it's starting to build momentum. And at the end of the day, you go back to something that you've already created. It's just a way of creating a bit of order.
I spend that much time in hotels, I just expect someone else will make it. and I find that very awkward, and I have to make it myself. It's just not fair.
Yeah, I think I might forgive you on that one.
Rowan's just said, hey, that there's a great app for that, measuring your social media. It's called Antisocial.
Oh my God.
So check that out, guys. Thanks, Rowan. I'll definitely check that out as well. I love it. Okay, 73, clean as you go.
Again, clean as you go. This is a really simple one. Is never walk anywhere with empty hands. If you're going somewhere, pick up something, move it. If you're cleaning as you go, if you're cooking, while one thing's cooking, you're cleaning the other thing. Don't let the mess build up. Just small things done on a regular basis make a massive difference.
Yeah, I do that. I moved into a house that's much bigger and it's longer, and I kind of, again, you're using the task, going up and down the hall, like you've got to go up there to get stuff, and I do find that it's always a chance to clean or to move things around. Ben, you've asked another social media one. that we might want to look at is rescuetime.com, another one of those kind of apps or a site which will tell you how much time you're wasting, which is also kind of nice. Joanne, wipe the surface with your children's dirty laundry on the way to the washing machine. Joe, I'm not sure that's the most hygienic of things, but I like your style. Tip number 74, you don't need to know everything. Ask someone for help. Great point.
Yeah, if you want to know something, the first question I normally ask is who would know this? Who would be the best person who would know this? And often you can go through reams of information very quickly by knowing who the right person is and scheduling a call or firing off a quick email.
I love it. Okay. 75, don't argue with an idiot. Oopsie.
Yeah, don't argue.
We've all been guilty of that, right?
Well, the problem is when you argue with an idiot, it just makes two of you. You know, don't argue with an idiot. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Facts are facts. And sometimes the best response is, isn't that interesting? And move on. You don't need to convert people. I find often when you're trying to argue with people, if they're bigots, you know, really set in their way, it's not your job to convert them, man. Just move on.
Well, even in sales, we spend too much of our time trying to convince people that are never going to buy our products or services. Focus on those who are. You just the key is to know the difference.
Yeah. And sometimes as well, go for no. Yeah. Everybody's go for yes. Like, you know, is this something that you're going to consider or not? And it's just a nice way of bringing it to a closure.
Andrew Beecroft, you mentioned there the Japanese call it Kaizen, which is very true. And Kaizen is really just doing a big change by doing little steps. And that's exactly what this is all about. Major, major change by doing little steps. Thank you for that. Thanks for your comments, guys. This is awesome. Susan, you're saying idiots will drag you down to their level, then beat you with the experience.
I love it.
That's cool. Thanks, Susan. Okay, 76, clear the slate.
Clear the slate. So one of the things for this is actually, like we've spoken about, is at the end of the day, for me, the way I clear my slate is I'm quite fortunate. We've got a long driveway. So I get home, I've made calls, I've got a couple of things on my mind. I actually park in the driveway. I write down my final thoughts or whatever the case is, and then get myself fully present. So when I arrive home, I'm home. Yeah. I'm in dad mode, husband mode, that sort of thing. And also clear the slate. If we've had a bad meeting and we're about to go into another meeting, you need to actually do something physically and be aware you've got to break that state, because otherwise it just compounds. So clear the slate is actually around your state.
And I think it's a wonderful way to end the day.
Yes.
77, sprint 30, then 90 minutes. Tell us what that is.
Sprint 30 to 90 minutes, depending on how fit you are. So most of us get distracted all the time. We have like attention deficit disorder, right? What we need to do is we go, okay, let's start off with 30 minutes. Can we get to 45? You know, you're a king if you can work totally focused on one task, no distractions for 90 minutes. So put it down as a sprint session, and then allow time to rest and recover afterwards. And, you know, they did a study of CEOs from the Fortune 500 companies, and one of the questions was, how much time are they actually productive during a day? And it was 28 minutes, Andrew.
Yeah, crazy, man.
So if you could have 3 90-minute sprints in a day, it's 270 minutes there of super productive time. But again, it's around this point, building momentum in small wins.
So, build momentum by doing small wins. I think we probably covered that with the Kaizen concept. Celebrate small wins and make small change. Is that what you mean?
Absolutely. And also break big goals down into achievable things. So it's like, I'm not going to sit down and write a book in one session. But what is achievable? Is it 500 words a day or 1,000 words a day? If I can do that and even maybe give myself a bit of grace, go, you know what? I'm going to aim for 500 words a week, 5,000 words a week. It means I've got 2 days where if I drop the ball, I can pick it up, but that's achievable. If I achieve that, I feel like I'm achieving, I feel better about myself, I can do this, I carry on. But if you say, oh, I'm going to do 10,000 words in my first week, and you don't achieve it, you go, oh, I'm not achieving, and so you stop. Make it about.
I love it. Ben in here saying, you mean productivity is like listening to a webinar for 90 minutes. I think we're all doing pretty good to stay focused this whole time. I agree with you, Ben. I agree. Keep going. Tip 79, do things right the first time. You know, like, look, absolutely. You know, how much time do we spend redoing stuff because we're not fully present, we're not fully focused, we're not doing it, you know, we're not giving it the full attention that we should, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
Measure twice, cut once.
Yeah, awesome. And developing, that's my philosophy. I do things right the first time.
Yes.
You've got to keep saying to yourself, I do it right the first time. I do it right the first time. I do it right the first time.
And also, if you've got a lot of stuff, you feel overwhelmed, it's a question of slowing down to speed up. So if you get it right the first time and spend more time up front, you don't have to go back and redo it. So it actually works to your favor. It's a bit hard in the beginning, but then it works out.
And we've had Christina to say, if it helps, there's research that says keeping your bed unmade kills off dust mites, as they don't have a nice, warm, moist environment to keep alive. So keeping the bed unmade is a good thing. Disagree. I'd much rather be really productive and live in harmony with my bed mites. Thank you, Christina. Nice point.
We've got to go.
Okay, 80. So we've got 12 minutes, Sam. Review. What did I do well? What can I do better?
So we actually spoke about this earlier. Reviewing. What did I do well and what could I have done better? Once you've actually finished a task or achieved something, identify what did you do well and what could you do better next time. It helps make you more efficient for the future. Next.
Love it. Thoughts, think it, ink it, decisions, notebook.
So with this, often we'll make a decision, but if we actually document or just write down how we got to that decision, it helps us learn from our mistakes, but also it's a point of reference. We don't have to spend that time trying to think about how we got to that point. It's a great way of saying.
And we've got a message from Kevin saying, could you repeat that last point? I was off making my bed. Ta-ha, Kevin, very funny, very funny. We love it. Tip 82, make decisions quickly, change your mind slowly.
Absolutely. Invest time and make a decision. You generally know when it's the right decision, and then don't chop and change, because what happens is then you don't build up any momentum, nothing gets done. So make your decisions quickly, change your mind slowly.
People are very slow at making decisions. I see that because we're overwhelmed, and the problem is then we can't make a decision because I haven't got clear space to make a decision. Again, I think we have to reprogram ourselves to make the decision, right or wrong sometimes, make the decision. But doing nothing is far worse.
It's easier to turn the wheels of a car once it's moving forward.
Momentum is happening, I agree. 83, respond, don't react. Save time apologising.
So with this one is just pause. When we're really busy, we tend to fire stuff off. We get cross very quickly. We say things we shouldn't say. Just take a minute, reflect, and then respond. Anthony Robbins talks about this, about the difference between humans and animals. Is we have the choice of responding.
Yeah.
So the gap between stimulus and response.
So yeah, reaction causes a lot of problems, doesn't it?
That's right.
The value of your time, the hourly rate question mark.
This is a great exercise. Turn around and say, how much money would you like to make, or how much money am I paid? Then work out how many hours you're actually productive during, you can be productive during the day or during the year, and put a value on your time. And then the question you ask yourself, is this worthy of my time?
Well, people go to that thing that they think they've got 365 days, but if you've ever done that as an example, we've got about 200 work days.
That's right.
So, you take 200 work days and you're probably productive for about 5 of them,
5 hours in each one, yeah.
So you've got about 1,000 hours. So it's not a hard equation to work out, well, how much money do you need to make?
That's right.
So interesting, but know the value of your time and know that every hour that you give away or you waste or you're non-productive, know how much that's costing you. Okay, 85. Will this matter a year from now, Sam?
This is just
this webinar will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Life, but
this question puts things in perspective. Often we make mountains out of molehills.
Wonderful. Ask that question, time and time again. I think it's fabulous. Next one, great one. Is this the best use of my time right now? Great question.
Little post-it note on my computer screen.
Is this the best use of my time right now? What a great post-it note to have on there.
So nice reality check.
And this is a photo of Sam on the weekend, by the way, guys. Pay someone to teach you how to use technology. This is one of mine. And the idea behind this is we use all this technology, but we use 1/10 of it, 1/20 of it. We don't really take the time. I pay someone to teach me how to use my printer. I pay someone to teach me how to use software when I buy it. And I spend a couple $100 to learn how to use an iPad or a new operating system on a computer, because it saves me so much time while trying to use it and half using it. HP did a report saying that small business owners use 10% of the capability of their printers and most of the equipment that they sell.
It's like buying
10%.
It's like buying a Ferrari and never taking it out of first.
Crazy. Tip 88. This is my one again too. Get really good at using 5-minute increments of time really well. It's kind of what we spoke about earlier, but we all have these little 5-minute increments during the day that we waste. We do our social media, blah, blah, blah. On my little to-do list, I had that little list of all the things I could get done in a 5-minute increment. When I had those 5-minute increments, sitting in a car, doing this, doing that, that's when I work my way through the 5-minute list. I get so much done in those 5-minute increments, you got no idea. Sam's pulled out a bit of paper from his back pocket there with his list of things he can do when he's got 5-minute increments. 89, set up your office correctly. Is your office really ineffective?
Yep.
Are you constantly have to go all the way over to the other side to get something using 20 times a day? Is your desk uncomfortable? Is your filing crap because you don't have a filing cabinet? Is, you buy your pens one at a time and then you can never find them, so you're spending half your day looking for them. Really spend time making sure that your office is set up so that it works effectively, or your workspace.
That's right.
Not just an office. Number 90, this is something I've been doing for many years now, is I make it so that if I'm not in my office, there is nothing to hinder me from working exactly the same as when I'm in my office. So having Dropbox helps me do this enormously. But when I'm away, no one knows. Many of you I talk to regularly, whatever it might be. You might ask me where I am, but it makes no difference to how I communicate, how I do business, whatever, if I'm here or if I'm in Paris. Same thing. So it means that if you want to go and work somewhere for a while, you can. You're not tied to just being productive when you're in your office, and that's a state of mind in many respects as well. Absolutely. Oh, I'm not in my office, I can't do that. Why not?
Yeah.
It's crazy. You're wasting time. 91, reuse articles and copy that you write. These days we live in the age of content. So for me, I hate writing an article and using it once, man. I am a word miser. So I will rewrite, remold, reposition, redo articles and copy and use it in other places so that I'm not reinventing the wheel all the time. And all it takes is just changing the copy enough so that it's different. Number 2, write a stop doing list. 92. This is a great one.
This is gold. So often people are overwhelmed, overstressed. It's just, what do you need to stop doing? I
love this.
Yeah, great one.
So just every day, like next to your to-do list, today I'm going to stop doing it. I'm going to stop wasting time. I'm going to stop arguing with idiots. I'm going to stop going to the shop every day. I'm going to, productivity is about stop doing things more than it is about start doing things in reality, folks. Okay, 93. If you travel, this is my dirty little secret, okay? Don't tell anyone. I lie about when I'm leaving and I lie about when I'm coming back. Yes, I'm a dirty, rotten liar. The reason I do, I used to find, I'm telling you what, I'm leaving on Friday, so my Thursday was a disaster because I had so many people contacting me, blah, blah, blah. What I actually do is leave on a Saturday. Then what happens on the Friday, everyone thinks I've already left and I'm out of touch type thing. So I have this really beautiful Friday where I get everything done. This is a great tip. You know now my deepest, darkest secrets, or one of them, try it. Everything changes. Dean Hawkins, try this when you're traveling. Number 94, reward productive people, Sam. Over to you.
So around this is, again, reward the behavior you want to see more. People that are productive and achieve results as opposed to busy running around like a chook without a head.
Absolutely, yeah. And learn from productive people.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. Those people are productive, man. You can learn so much from them if you're not that productive. And share ideas. How do you do this in your working environment or in social media amongst your peers? Okay, 95. Have the talk with suppliers before any money changes hands. Now, this one for me is about expectations.
That's right.
This is what I expect from my suppliers. If you can't do this, like respond, communicate, not waste my time, deliver on time, if you can't do this, please don't take this job on now. Yep. No hard feelings. We'll all move away and there'll be no tears, but don't say you can do it when you can't.
Yeah, set expectations because, again, people have got different values, different priorities. Set it. This is, if I'm going to work with you, this is what you can expect from me. And this is what I'm going to expect from you.
Exactly. And, it's got to be a two-way street.
That's right.
And number 96, I remember that TV show. Wasn't it awesome? Get really good at knowing when you're wasting time and what to do about it.
That's right. Absolutely. And, again, this is awareness. The chess clock helps bring that around. But sometimes, wasting time is when we think we're being busy.
Yeah.
Having downtime and relaxing and putting your feet up and enjoying yourself, that's not wasting time. What's wasting time is when we're busy, being busy for the sake of being busy because we think that looks...
Yeah, exactly. And social media fits in this category. Again, absolutely. I'm doing my social media. Are you really? Or are you just kind of watching cat videos? Tip 97, decide to decide once.
This is a great time saver. Decide to decide once. Often we make a decision. I'm going to start going to gym 4 times a week.
Yep.
And you thought about it, you worked it all out. The morning comes for you to go to gym and you lie in bed for 15 minutes, umming and ahhing whether you're going to get up and go to gym. You've decided you're going to go to gym, get up and go to gym. You've decided you're going to do something, just get up and do it. Decide to decide once. This is a key.
Love it. 98, start, stop, more of, less of.
So often when we go away on conferences or even this webinar as an example, a great way to prioritize what you need to do is to take 4 pages and go, this is the stuff I'm going to start doing. This is the stuff I'm going to stop doing. This is the stuff I need to do more of. This is the stuff I need to do less of. It's a very, very simple framework, but it gives you some absolute clarity around what actions you need to take next.
Yeah, great. That's nice. I like that. A little 1-pager. We should have done this up for the webinar. People could have downloaded it. Sorry about that, folks. Next time. Tip 99, eat the frog.
Biggest, ugliest task, do it first.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
so
exactly. I think that's a bit unfair for frogs. I don't actually think they're ugly. I think frogs are quite cute.
Eat them one leg at a time.
One leg at a time. But yeah, what is the frog?
So-
you know, what is the one that's really driving you nuts?
Yeah,
you know?
the frog is a task you don't want to do, but it's going to make the biggest difference.
Yeah.
So you're identifying something that's what that is the day before, and then doing it first thing in the morning, you've set yourself up for success. Brian Tracy's book, Eat That Frog, is the whole principle around that. So worth
Awesome. Tip 100, focus on finishing.
Oh, you know, so many times people feel absolutely overwhelmed, got all of this stuff, and they've got all these unfinished projects, and they're 98% complete. Just do the final bit and be done with it.
I agree. A lot of people that have 10 projects on the go, and if they just focused on one, they could actually finish that project now. And I've been guilty of that in the same. You know, yeah, absolutely. Right. And last is almost there. Drum roll. Just do it, man. Just freaking do it. All right. This is your one. Tell us what you think.
Decide in that. If you can't decide, you know, so just decide and just do it. Take action. The sooner you can take action, you're moving forward, you're making progress. Sometimes people go, oh, I don't know what to do. And we've been conditioned around that. And you know what the question is? If you did know what to do, what would you do? And it's funny. So people go, I don't know what to do. And you go, well, if you did know, what would you do? And 9 times out of 10, even more, people come in with the right answer because they're not under pressure. So just do it.
Love it. Guys, righto, we've made it. I can't believe that we've done 101 tips there. Sam's needs a Panadol and a lay down. Now, we know it was really full on. It was designed to be full on. It was designed to just give you so many ideas your head's going to blow, and it was a little bit of fun. And I'd love your feedback, even when we send out an email with the links to where you can download it. Give us some feedback, because I'd like to do this with some other kind of topics as well. And we're getting some really fantastic feedback in there. Sorry, some of the questions we couldn't ask, there was too much swearing in them for us to be able to translate in a fun way, although cheeky, but thank you. And look, I know that was a big 90 minutes, but maybe there's just one really great idea that you got out of that, which you can adopt today, and it might change your life. You know, I certainly hope it was. So,
and I'd love them to share it.
Share it with us, absolutely. Please, Sam, thank you so much. My very dear friend, Sam Harrop. Check him out, samharrop.com.au. Sam's going to send you out a copy of his book. That's a really cool thing to do, Sam. It's just a great book, a 7-step process to ending procrastination and achieving more. And I think, you know, let's give Sam a bit of a round of applause for doing that as well, simply because that's, you know, very generous. It'll be a PDF format. You know, you're going to be able to kind of, you know, open it easily. There's no conditions. We're not trying to do anything to flog you. That's something that you're going to be able to use. So, and we're getting lots and lots of claps as well. If you guys, you want anything more from me, you know how to find me. I'm on Inc., CBS, Interactive, TEDx now, Key Person Influence, Flying Solo. I'm on the Small Business Big Marketing Show with Tim Reed. Any of those things there, you know, shoot us through an email. We would love any of your feedback there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's great to read. Oh, thank you for all the really nice comments, folks. And some of you might not have listened to me on a webinar for a while, so hopefully a little bit of NLP came in and it made you want to finish writing a book for any of those of you who are in the KPI side of things. And we'll definitely do something like this. It's a little bit intense again. Remember, we'll send you a copy of the webinar, the recording, the PDF of the actual audio-visual presentation, anything else we can think of. I'll send you out an email with that, so you've got it all, and Sam will send you the email with the book. So thank you very, very much, and thanks also for your really kind words. Some wonderful feedback coming in there as well. Awesome. Now you just got to go and do it all. Okay?
That's it. Take action. Just do it.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.